XFL Report.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the XFL Report, the best football show of the new generation.
That's right, Tyler. We are back here in Arrowhead Field. The Kansas City Chiefs, baby! That's right. We are done talking about the NFL. This is the XFL. And let me tell you, week 5, halfway through the season. And man, we have a lot of oofs. Great fans and great games. So let's get right into it with the Seattle Dragons taking on the Houston Roughnecks.
And coming into this game, you know, Seattle has blown leads multiple times this season. It was going to be a challenge. You know, you never expect to go out and win against Roughnecks, and that is exactly what they did not do. But it was a great game. You know, they came out strong. They had the Roughnecks on the ropes, it looks like, and then PJ Walker and Cam Phillips really came out and showed why they should be 5-0. But there was some controversy at the end of this game, but we'll get into that a little later.
I mean, well, we got to talk about Seattle here. They actually got tied going into half, so you know it didn't look good. But they had a lead going into the fourth, and in Seattle fashion, they ended up choking.
They choked it, but I gotta say, all the credit to PJ Walker. You know,
Absolutely.
He drove a 90-yard touchdown run drive. And that's just what set them on motion. You know, he got a 3-point conversion. It was a great game by the Roughnecks. Although he didn't play to his best.
No, he didn't. Threw 2 interceptions. His passing rating at 104 is okay. But here we're looking at Daniels for the Dragons. He did not have the greatest game. He had, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So that's always good. And it was an okay game. 76 passing ratings with 114 yards. What a game. Though, like you said, PJ Walker did struggle a bit with those 2 interceptions, but man, he's showing why he deserves the MVP, most valuable Walker. That's what I'm saying right there. PJ Walker. Great player. Moving on.
I thought going into this game it would be a little more challenging, but it was in the first half with the score being 6-6 at the end of 2. But after that, you know, after this little fight that they had, New York just took off and demolished them.
I mean, let me say this. I thought this would be a kicking game by halftime. 6-6 was looking very interesting, but then, like you said, I don't know, after that fight, let's take a look at it real quick.
2 people got ejected out of it,
yes.
And I think that was just the turning point because, you know, morale was low with the Renegades, and it just... But I gotta say, looks like New York found their QB.
I definitely agree. Perez, I know threw 1 interception, but man, he threw also a touchdown, making it look pretty good. 229 yards, had a good day, not a great day, but I mean, man, he's coming out showing, hey, yo, forget about it. I am the true New Yorker.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with that. Showing why all New York needed was to get rid of Matt McLaurin, and now they're on a groove, 2-game winning streak, and I think it's going to continue.
But how about those Dallas Renegades? Man, Nelson not putting in the work. I know he had a 50 passing rating, which is but those 2 interceptions really hurt the team. And I mean, I'm just saying, 57%.
And one of them was a pick six.
Yeah, one was a pick six. 57%, 210 yards. He could have played better, a lot better. Those 2 interceptions, that pick 6 really cost him, and it hurts.
But I gotta say, he's in between a rock and a hard place, you know, because Landry Jones is out. They're saying he should come back in 2 weeks, which, I mean, good for him. But unfortunately, you know, he has to perform better than that. He just can't not.
Do good? I got you what you mean. He's got to show that he can back that team up.
Yeah.
He didn't do this week. Moving on, we got the Seattle taking on the DC for Defenders. After 2 terrible losses for the DC Defenders, losing to 2 teams that haven't won a game yet, the question remains, can this team be legit contenders? And I mean, hey, what a good way to prove it against the Seattle Battlehawks team. That was very aggressive. And it was a defensive affair. It was tough. It was gritty. I mean, it was spectacular for them. The first score, going into halftime, it was 6-6. It was really felt like a punting fest. A lot of kicks, a lot of field goals. Very tight game. They brought in Tyree Jackson.
I think it was about time. You know?
Yes.
Cardell Jones, the past 2 weeks, and even for the first quarter of this game, just doesn't look like himself. I don't think he had any completions that game, and it just wasn't good. He threw one interception, and that was just the nail in the coffin for his season. I think.
Well, Jackson, though, showing that he can really carry. Got a touchdown, threw for a touchdown. Good for him. I mean, he also ran the ball out. This guy showing why, because he was an NFL prospect last year. Didn't get the love they deserve. Showing why, hey, look, sign me. I'm still young. I'm tall. I'm like a Cam Newton kind of player. But we cannot disfault the Seattle Battlehawks, as I mean, their quarterback, Tatuma, had a decent game. 174 yards, 81 passing rating. Isn't the greatest. It wasn't the best. He was all right.
Yeah, it was a very, like you said, a gritty game. You know, if you love defense, you're going to love this game. Mm-hmm. But the fans loved it. I mean, just look at this video. They were enjoying themselves. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. If you go out to these games, you're going to enjoy yourself. The fan, it's like a thriving community, and I think that, you know, they're having fun. So,
let's take a look at that clip.
Yeah.
You know, St. Louis, you're a pretty cool town. You know, you have your fans. Well, let's show you what real fans look like, considering they have nothing to cheer for with the Redskins. And I mean, DC Defenders, that snake was so big, it could have been a legit snake. Confused me. I got scared.
Yeah, it's like a python.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
slithered.
I thought the Vipers were coming into this game with that snake.
I know, that was a big snake. I love this. We love to see that energy from the fans, throwing the cups down. Maybe fan of the week. We don't know yet.
Maybe.
That's not telling. But we're gonna move on to a phenomenal high-scoring game. Next up,
Tampa Bay Vipers versus LA Wildcats. Coming into this game, Tampa Bay on a high.
Yeah.
You know, they won their first game, and then they go off to a 26-6 lead. And I gotta say, I thought it was in the bag for them. I guess they thought so too, so they stopped playing. And unfortunately, if you let LA come back, they're gonna bite you in the derriere.
I agree. I mean, LA looked kind of rubbish. They looked like, oh my God, we're not gonna win. But guess what? They said, nah. We showing why we're LA's team. The Lakers? The Clippers? Who? Chargers? Rams? Nah, they're the Wildcats. I mean, there was very high scoring. I gotta give credit to Johnson. 4 touchdowns after an interception. But those 4 touchdowns were deadly. He really said, I'll put the team on the back and chuck that ball like his name was Patrick Mahomes. As we're in Arrow Field right now, don't forget, Arrow Stadium, whatever you want to call it, Arrowhead Stadium, whatever you want to call it. But his passing rating, 107. Pretty good. But you can't not talk about and not distance the other performance by Cornelius, showing that, hey, look, I am now actually the starter. This is my team. This isn't Murphy's team. This is my team. I deserve it, and he's been proving it. I know 2 interceptions isn't always the greatest. 2 touchdowns, good. 300 yards, absolutely good. But 87 passing rating. You want something else to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, Cornelius, he's been playing great. He even has a rushing touchdown. And I think, I never want to justify an injury, but I think Murphy getting injured was a blessing in disguise for the Vipers, as if you score 34 points, it's not on the offense, it's on the defense. Mm-hmm. And they brought the teeth in the first half, but the Wildcats came with the claws, and they won. I
absolutely agree. Those claws are vicious. What are the sound does the Wildcats make again?
Rawr.
Exactly. And those Vipers? I couldn't agree more. I wouldn't use that logic, but I couldn't agree. The team played rough, and it's not on the defense, or the offense, sorry. It is on the defense. You can't just let 34 points slide like that and expect the offense to keep scoring. Eventually, defenses hold out, and I mean, the Vipers coming close, but yet, once again, they're Tampa. What are 3 things certain? Death, taxes, and Tampa not being a good football team. And look what? They're not a football team this year. Garbaggio! Now, time for a classic XFL Report moment here.
The 5th player of the week.
And we're going to give it to someone from the Houston Roughnecks. That's right, we are doing it again. Nope, psych, that's the wrong position. We're giving it to Cam Phillips, baby.
I mean, just look at this bomb from PJ Walker, but that's not the highlight. The highlight is the catch. 50-50 ball, Cam Phillips is coming down with it every single time.
I mean, look at his stats. 122 yards, just yards.
2 receiving touchdowns.
I mean, the guy's playing really well, and he showed. You know what? Philip Walker is getting all this credit for being a quarterback I put a lot of work too. I've been going under the radar. Well, guess what? Not
You're
this
on the
week.
radar, my friend.
5th week, heading into the 6th week. This cup coming. Let's see if the Houston Roughnecks can keep that streak alive.
And you know what? I think playing against New York next week, I think it will continue.
I don't think so. I think the Guardians are going to guard them down.
Well, I gotta say, it's going to be a very interesting game. New York's defense is their strong point, and I think it's going to be a great game.
I do too. It's going to be a XFL classic. We're going to tell our great granddaughters or grandsons about this amazing matchup in the future. Trust me about that.
I couldn't agree more.
And we're here back after that commercial break to give you the play of the night for OK Boomers play of the night. And I got to give it to
Mueller.
But sir, it was just a 20-yard interception and they had a big lead. Yes, but it was. With that interception, pick 6, I'm just saying it made it a 20-point game. They just daggered them in the heart, ending any chance that the Renegades had to come back.
And I gotta say, this was an athletic play. You can't teach that. He bats it up in the air, he catches it, and runs like his mother was on fire.
You know what they say about the New York expression, if your mother's on fire, you better go get her.
I couldn't agree more. And this guy must have saw his mother on fire in the crowd because he ran and he didn't think about nothing. He said, forget about it.
I agree.
And that's about all the time we have, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for joining us. Make sure you tune into next week's episode. And don't forget to hit that bell. Don't forget, the X in XFL stands for
Extreme! Oh, well, actually, if you look at that, there's still time left on the clock. And that's actually a great segue. Thanks for mentioning it. For the oof of the night, I gotta say, Seattle their fan base has been livid.
Oh, must have been livid.
Yeah, I mean, 4th and 23. He takes a knee. Game's over, right?
Yep.
That's where you're wrong. Let's throw it over to Dan, and let's get
our XFL replay analysis expert to tell us what's going on. Yo, Dan, what's going on?
Thank you so much. Tyler's in the studio. I'm replaying in, and let's take a look at this play. All right, so PJ Walker snaps it at the 5. He waits a little bit, and his knee goes down at 2. It looks like 2 seconds. Let's take a closer look at that. Let's go replay. Back. Jolly. His knee looks down at the 2. Let's zoom in a little bit. And sweet Jesus. His knee is down at the 2. At the 20-yard line. Oh, my God. Seattle deserves another play. Come on, XFL. What are you doing? Come on. Seattle deserves another play.
I agree with Dan there. I mean, what a terribly ref game. How do you make that big mistake? It's not like you got fired, right? Oh, wait, you did.
Well, I hope he gets to keep the uniform, because at least we'll see him at Foot Locker. Because, how do you mess up this bad? I get, making a mistake. They ran to the locker room. They were probably told there. He could have ran back out, but he was like, no, forget about it. We're gonna continue on, and he's been reassigned, which, I mean, I think that's slang for get out of here.
I agree.
That's good.
This is our OK Boomer of
the
night. Oof of the night. See right there, big oof for you folks.
And now for the first ever OK Boomer fan of the week. And, we could have done this earlier, especially with St. Louis, but we didn't think of it past then. So now we gotta say, the longest beer snake in XFL history came this weekend, and if you missed it, don't worry, we got all the coverage you need right here, right now.
Absolutely. I haven't seen a snake like that since my time in Nigeria, let me tell you that. And I mean, it was beautiful. You gotta represent those fans, showing why DC is not a bad football team. They love their football down there, and trust me, anytime I will go to one of those games, I want to be a part of that beer snake. That is actually, fun fact, Guinness world record. That's Guinness. Guinness hit them up, yeah.
Oh.
You-
Yeah, you know, it was really like a bonding experience because everyone was getting in on it. People were throwing cups at him, but I really do feel bad about the guy who started it because he had to hold it there
Oh.
for the entire game, and it just must have been hell.
It definitely was. I mean, he started. He knew what he was getting himself into, and I mean, hey,
Did he though? I don't know.
I
It
think
just
so.
turned into the longest snake.
I think he knew what he was trying to get into. Everyone enjoyed it. That's what kind of fandom you want to see. It's like a brother bonding experience. It's not some frat boy stuff right there. Now we got to move on. We're midway through. Let's look at the standings of the XFL. Kicking in the East, the DC Defenders leading 3-2 after that win against the Battlehawks, popping them up top. Then the Seattle Battlehawks not behind. Sadly, they did lose. That's why they're behind them. And the New York Guardians as well, 3-2. Going in there.
It's a
very
three-way
tight,
tie.
yeah, for a close race. Now moving on to the West, because we're not talking about the Vipers. They're trash. 4-5, 1-4. The Roughnecks taking it by storm, 5-0. Nobody's touching them. It seems like TDs 4-27 or 21. TDs against 14. Absolutely killing it. That's a 7+ TD difference for you math nerds.
And that's just insane. They're
It
on a
is.
5-game winning streak, biggest in the league, and I don't see them slowing down anytime soon.
Nope. Dallas Renegades. I mean, the West doesn't look like the East. Looking terrible. They're 2-3, -3 TDs, 9-4, 12 against. Never good. They're 0-3 at home. They're good on the road. So if they're on the road, they play well. Then you got the LA Wildcats, 2-3 as well. They're more of a home team, but when they go on the road, they end up losing. They're actually 4+ for the TDs, 18 against 14. And to finish it off, the Seattle Dragons, who are 1-4. And also another not good team.
Kind of hiding under the radar because they have the same record as the Vipers, but everyone, you know, craps about the Vipers. But Seattle is just right down with
They're
them.
the exact same record. If anything, they're actually worse than the Vipers this past week. They lost 3 in a row, where the Vipers lost 1.
Mm-hmm. Although they do have one more TD for them. So.
That's true. That's true. That's all that matters in the end.
Well, that's all the time we have, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, because we're going to be here every single Monday for the XFL season and postseason.
That is correct, Tyler. I can't wait for you guys to tune in every week. No more danging on the Besk. Don't worry, folks. We are done with that. I'm Tyler.
I'm also Tyler.
Don't forget, the X stands for
Extreme, baby.
Did you like that? I said the best danging.